Hello all and welcome back. If you have been keeping up with the playlist, you will realize that we have come quite a significant way from the time the first video was posted about 3 months ago. A lot of people have emailed me, I've replied to all of you guys. One such person requested if I could cover charts. So today I will cover charts. I will show you how to visually represent your data using charts. So in this video, we will use VBA to create and manipulate charts and chart elements. So let's begin. There are two types of charts that you can create. One which is embedded in a worksheet and the other which is a standalone chart sheet. The first chart that we will create will be an embedded chart. The data we will use for a chart is right in front of you. It's in sheet 1. This is the data which is the sales data for the month of June for these 5 employees. Let's launch the Visual Basic Editor. If you're not sure what Visual Basic Editor is, then I recommend watching the video Visual Basic Editor and Introduction. We will now press the shortcut key Alt F11 to launch the Visual Basic Editor. Once the Visual Basic Editor is launched, right-click on the VBA project and then under Insert, click on Module to insert a module. We will first create an embedded chart in Sheet 1. I'll quickly write the code and then I will explain what we are doing here. Here I have the object variable for the worksheet. Same is for the chart object and the chart. Here I'm initializing the worksheet variable. In this line I'm creating a chart object with specific dimensions. And here I'm initializing the chart variable. Finally, here I'm setting the source of that chart. So let's run this. To run this, click on the Run Sub User Form button, or alternatively you can press the shortcut key F5. The moment you run it and if you go back to the worksheet, you will notice that the chart is created. Now what we will do is, we will build up on the code that we just wrote. We will interact with the different chart elements. So let's begin with the chart title first. If you notice that the chart title says sales, but I don't want the chart title to be sales. It should be sales data for June, which is in cell A1. So let's go ahead and fix that. We'll go back to the code. Sometimes the VBA code does not add a chart title. So first we will check if the chart has a title or not. If not, chrt dot has title, then and if chart dot set element start parenthesis, and we will select MSO element chart title above chart, which is this one. Once the chart element is set, let's change the text of the title. So I will type chrt dot chart title, which is here, dot text is equal to dot range a1 dot value. So dot range a1 dot value is for the WS worksheet. So let's go back to the worksheet and delete this chart, and let's go back. Now let's run this. Okay, let's go back to the worksheet and you will notice that our chart now has a chart title. If you notice that we are deleting the chart and then we are running the code. So why not delete the chart in the code itself, because we will be running this code again and again. So we don't have to go back and delete the chart manually. What we will do is we will delete the chart using a code. So right here, what I will do is dot chart objects 1 dot delete. Here, since there is only one chart object, so I'm using dot chart objects 1 dot delete. If there are multiple chart objects, then you can use a loop to delete all the charts. If there are multiple chart objects, then you can use a loop to delete all charts. For example, for each obj chart in ws.chartObjects, obj chart.delete. Next, obj chart. So if you use this code, then all the chart objects in the worksheet will be deleted. And if you want to delete a specific chart, then you will have to use the name. For example, ws.chartObjects chart name.delete, whatever the name of the chart is. And to find out what the name of the chart is, go back to the worksheet, click on the chart, and here you can see the chart name. Let's go back. Since there will be only one chart and we will not know the name, because every time when we run this, a new chart will be created with a new name, I'm going to stick with .chartObjects1.delete. The next thing that we will learn is how to change the chart type. If you go back, right now it's a bar chart. What if I do not want a bar chart but a line chart? So for that, you can use the chart type property of the chart to set the relevant chart type. Let's go back. Since we are constantly using the CHRT, I will use a with and with block, because when I build up on this code, I don't have to write CHRT again and again and again. So I will change it here. With CHRT dot set source data comes into the next line. This gets deleted, this as well, and I'm going to indent the code and I'll delete this as well. And I will type end with here. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to change the chart type. So I will type dot chart type, which is right here, is equal to, the moment you press equal to, you will be given these options. You can choose the kind of chart that you want. We want a line chart, so I'm going to select Excel line, which is right here. And we are done. Before we run, let's quickly check the changes that we have made. Okay, set source data is for this chart. Oh, this should be ws.range A2 to B7. This is okay, this is okay, this is okay. This should be ws.range A1. Fine, let's run it. Now let's go back. And you will notice that my bar chart is now a line chart. If I click on this, you will notice that this time the name is chart 4. So this is what I was saying. The name of the chart will keep on changing. Now we have a chart title. How about adding titles to axis? The y-axis and the x-axis. So I want to show sales here and employee name here. To achieve this, we will have to use the set element again. So let's go back. I'll do it after this line. Dot set element space. The property that we are looking for is MSO element primary value axis title horizontal. It's a very long property, so we'll start typing MSO element primary value axis title horizontal, which is here. So this is for the y-axis. Now let's set the title of the axis. So I will type dot axis Excel value dot axis title dot text is equal to ws dot range b2 dot value 2. Now why b2? Because if we go back, this is what we want, sales for the y-axis, and similarly we will want a2 for the x-axis. Let's go back. So I'm going to copy these two lines and I'm going to paste it again. The first one was value axis, this one will be category axis. This will also be category. And this will be A2. So when you run this, this will add two titles, one towards the y-axis, one towards the x-axis, and the titles will be added horizontally. So if you want the title for the y-axis to be vertically, then you will have to change this to vertical. Let's run this. Let's go to the worksheet. And you'll notice that the chart is created and we have the axis titles also created. Here we can see the employee name, which is from A2, and this is sales from B2. This axis title is vertical and this is horizontal. If you want this as well horizontally, then go back and change that vertical to horizontal. Now let's add some data labels to the chart. Now this can be tricky. Had the chart type been a pie chart, then applying data labels would have been pretty straightforward. Let me demonstrate this to you. Let's go back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and I'm going to create a copy of this. And I will comment this because we will need this. Okay. Here I'm going to change the chart type from line to Excel pie. And we will also have to change few other things because it's a pie chart. This we don't need. Let's delete this. So in case of pie chart, I could have just used set element, MSO, element, data label, outside end. So if I scroll down, it's here. And we are done. Let's run this. I see the end sub has also been commented, so I'm going to remove that. Now let's run this. So if we go back, you will notice that the chart has been created and the data labels have been added. See, it's pretty simple when it comes to a pie chart, but you can't do this in the case of a line chart or a bar chart. Let's go back. So I'm going to delete this. We don't need this. And this is our original code, so I'm going to uncomment this. In this case, we have to loop through the series collection and then move the position of the data labels. So what we will do is we will add a small loop. So for that I will use I as a counter. And then after this I type .apply data labels and then I select Excel data labels show value, which is right here. And then we have to use a loop to set the position of the data labels. So for that I will type for I is equal to 1 to dot series collection dot count next I dot series collection I dot data labels dot position is equal to Excel label position above. So let's run this. If we go back to the worksheet, we will notice that the data labels have been added to the series collection. Okay, so what next? Let's remove the grid lines. To remove the grid lines, we can use .access Excel value .major grid lines .delete. So let's go back and I type here .access Excel value .major grid lines .delete. If we run this, you will notice that the grid lines are no longer there. Now let's add markers to the series collection, and let's do one more thing. Let's make this line a smooth line. So we'll do two things now. We will add markers and we will make this line a smooth line. So let's go back. I'm going to use the same loop which is here, and I will convert this to a with and with line because I'm going to use dot series collection I a lot. And with inside this I will type dot smooth is equal to true. So this will make the series collection a smooth line. Next is the marker style. So I will type marker style is equal to 3 and marker size is equal to 4. If you're wondering how did I get the marker style, then there are two ways to get it. You can either record a macro and insert a marker in the chart, or you can visit the Microsoft knowledge base. This screenshot is taken from that site. As far as the marker size is concerned, this can be a value from 2 through 72. So I have set it as 4. If you want to change the marker style, you can do that. Now let's run this and see what kind of output do we get. So here you can see the markers have been inserted and my line has become a smooth line. Okay, what should we do next? How about coloring the chart? Before we color the chart, let me explain something. The chart has two parts. One is the chart area, which is this. And the other is the plot area, which is this. You can either color one of them or you can color both of them. What we will do is, we will color both of them orange so that it looks one smooth color. To color the chart area, we can use the chart area interior color. Okay, so let's go back. Here I'm going to type dot chart area dot interior dot color is equal to RGB 255, 192, 0. That is for orange color. And we will also color the plot area. To color the plot area, I will type dot plot area dot format dot fill dot forecolor dot RGB is equal to, I'll use the same color which is above, RGB 255, 192, 0. Let's go back to the chart for a moment. Let's see what else can we do. How about making the chart's corner as round? For that, we can use dot parent dot rounded corners as true. So let's go back. I will add one more line here. Dot parent dot rounded corners is equal to true. Now let's run this. Let's go back to the worksheet. You will notice that the color of the chart has changed. Also, now the corners are rounded. This chart looks much more presentable than what we had earlier. So when you're creating, let's say, small charts for your dashboard, you can create such kind of charts, reduce the size, put it in a dashboard. Similarly, we can tweak with so many other chart elements. Now, for example, here you have the legend, which is here. By default, this time the code added a legend. Sometimes what happens, the code does not add a legend. So what we can do is we can add a legend. So I'm going to delete this. How about showing a trend line? Or let's say if you want to format this amount as currency, then how do I do it? So I can write the code for all of this for you. But what I will do is I will show you how to do that as quickly as possible without writing too much code. For that, record a macro, okay? And then simply edit the code. So let's record a macro. I don't have the developer tab here. Let me quickly get the developer tab. Let's go to the developer tab and let's record a macro. The first thing that we will do is we will add a legend. So I'm going to click on this. I'll click on legend. I also want a trend line, so I'll click on that as well. The next thing I want is I want to change the format of this axis. I want to show the currency symbol. So I'll right click on it and I'll click on format axis. And then I will scroll down to number. Here I will select currency and it's showing you rupees because I'm in India. So let's convert it to US dollars. And we are done. So we did three things here. We added a legend, we added a trend line, and we formatted the axis to show the currency symbol. Now let's stop the code. Let's go back. If you go to module 2, this is the code that the macro recorder generated. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here and then I'm going to edit it. So this is adding a legend. So I'm going to delete this. Dot set element, MSO element legend right. Okay, great. The next thing is it's adding a trend line. So I'll delete this part. Trend line add linear forward, everything is fine. I'm not going to change anything here. Perfect. Here there's a lot of activate select, so we don't need all that. So what it is doing is it's changing the number format. So we don't need this activate, we can delete this. We can delete this as well. Tab, let's delete this. Instead of this part, we will only keep this particular part. So once again, let's check what the code is doing. Here it is adding a legend. Here it is adding a trend line. And here it is formatting the y-axis values as US dollars. So let's run this. If you go back, you will notice, oh, since we already did that, so let's delete this for a moment so you can see that it is doing it from the scratch. So I'm going to delete this and for a moment I will comment this line, otherwise you will get an error. And now we will run this. If you go back, you will notice this is exactly what our macro recorded. Similarly, you can change fonts if you want, you can play with other aspects of the chart. So we saw how you can create the first type of chart, which is an embedded chart in a worksheet. Now let's try and create a chart sheet, which is a standalone sheet. You will see the chart name right next to sheet 1. This is again very simple. So let's go back to the code and I'm going to delete everything in this module because I'll use this module to write the code. Let's create a procedure called sub standalone chart. Let's start off with just 2 lines and then we will build upon that. So I'll type dim chart as chart and then set chrt is equal to this workbook dot charts dot add. When you do this, and if you run this, you will notice a chart sheet has been added. If you go to the worksheet, you will notice that the chart sheet has been created here. So this is your original worksheet and this is the chart sheet. If you notice that the chart is populated with data, that is because the cell which is here currently selected is inside this table. Had it been in a blank cell, and if I would have run the code, then there wouldn't have been any value in it. Let's go back. See, there's nothing here. In such a scenario, then you would have had to add source data to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete both of them for the time being. Okay. And let's go back, and I'll keep it like this, and I'm going to run it. And now if I go back, this is the chart that I'm talking about, which does not have any data in it. So now let's set the source data. In fact, the rest of the process is very simple too, as what we did in the case of an embedded chart. So let's copy the code from there. I'll go back to module 1. And first of all, I'll copy these declarations. I'll go to module 2. I will paste them here. Then I will go back here. I will initialize my worksheet. I'll keep this line as it is. And now here, if you noticed, we had with WS because we were embedding the chart in a worksheet. Now, since we are not doing that, we do not need this line. We can directly work with the chart. So we can copy this part from here with chart and with. And we'll go to module 2 and we will paste it here. Okay, so let me quickly indent the code. Perfect. So here we are setting the source data. Here we are checking if the chart has a title or not, and then we are adding the title. Finally, we are adding the text to the title. Everything is fine here. Let me check what is not required here. We don't need this part because we cannot create a rounded corners standalone chart sheet. So I'm going to delete this. Rest, everything remains the same. So now let's run this. And if you go back to the workbook, if you notice, we created a standalone chart with the same customization that we had in the embedded chart. Obviously, this is looking different and this is looking different because this is a standalone chart. If you want, you can go ahead and tweak the elements here as well. So if you do not know how to do that, always remember that you have the option of recording a macro. And once the macro is recorded, simply go to the code, edit it, and use that code. This way, you can not only create a chart, but you can also customize it by tweaking the different chart elements. Time for a quick recap. In this video, we learned how to create two different kinds of charts using VBA. The first one where the charts were created as embedded charts in a worksheet. And the second one where the charts were created as standalone chart sheets. We also learned how to visually represent the data using a chart and how to customize the chart, whether adding a chart title or an axis title, coloring the chart, adding data labels, tweaking the grid lines, and so many other things. If you still have any query, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Or you can also email me on support@tamexcel.com. I also have a Facebook page. The link is in the description below. If you have any queries, please join that group, post a question there, and I will be more than happy to answer your queries. A quick reminder, I'll be posting 2 videos every week, one on Monday and the other on Thursday. If you would like to extend support towards this channel, then go ahead, watch a couple of videos, drop a couple of likes, and if you really want to learn Visual Basic Programming from scratch, then see the playlist, because that is where I have kept the videos in a particular sequence. So watch those videos, drop a couple of likes there as well, and if you have still not subscribed to this channel, then go ahead and subscribe to this channel by clicking on the bell icon. And I'll see you in the next video when I speak to you about pivot tables, how to create pivot tables and how to interact with them.